Okay. So welcome everybody to this Hangout on Air, which takes place right after the first Tourism Summit / IFITTtalk at Santiago here in Chile. And I'm very happy to introduce all the experts who are going to be with me here today to discuss a very important topic, which is the gap between the industry and customers in terms of where they are with regards to technology. Let me introduce the 4 participants we have. Next to me here on the left is Claudia Tellez. She's country manager Colombia, Chile, Peru from Kayak. Then we have online participating Karla Carrasco. No, not online, sorry. She's right next to me, sorry. CEO at Turismo. And then we have Carrie. She is participating online. She is direct market manager from South America. And also Noel Nuez. He is sales manager Latin America with Twitter. And as I said earlier, we are going to discuss the gap between where tourists are in terms of what they expect with regards to technology throughout the entire travel journey. So starting from information search through being on travel and after search, and what the industry and different organizations and suppliers actually offer, or where they are with regards to technology and what's available. Carrie, would you mind to open this discussion, please?
No, thank you. Yes, what we're seeing is, of course, the consumers are increasingly tech savvy, and as they travel, they want to continue to use their devices throughout their journeys. And we see an increasing trend with multi-device. So people who want to start their travels looking on their PC, maybe continuing to shop on a tablet, and then continuing with their smartphone. And as they travel, they want to continue to use this. What we're seeing in the industry, though, is that particularly in Latin America, throughout the broad spectrum of actors, everything from hotels to tour operators through small activities, sometimes they're not as technology savvy as the consumer. So maybe their online presence isn't as strong as it could be. Maybe they don't have technology ingrained in their day-to-day operation. And so I think there's an opportunity to learn, there's an opportunity to grow, and that's something that Expedia, as a technology company, we try to partner as best we can with our hotel partners and bring them technological solutions to help them, to bring supply, to help meet supply and demand through technology and help bridge this gap as best we can. But I think that's probably one of a gap that does exist, particularly in Latin America.
Claudia, would you like to continue?
Yeah, what we are facing every time we're dealing with new partners in this region in Latin America specifically is, as Carrie said, the user is tech savvy. The user already made the jump into digital. They're already using technology, using mobiles, downloading the apps. They are really looking and searching for the products before going into the retail or going to the offline shopping, but they are all into digital, searching for the things they want to buy. The difference right now in Latin America is that specifically in our vertical is that some OTAs, some airlines, regional airlines, local airlines, are not ready to make the integrations into the systems of the meta searches or into some OTAs, the large ones globally. So one of the challenges that we are facing right now in the market is trying to explain to these new partners the importance of getting ready, of improving their tech systems, their tech connections, developing API connections, developing applications that are more user-friendly, developing e-commerces that are strong enough to work steadily during the hot sales or Black Fridays. So we need to teach them and guide them in a way that the changes are made faster. So we really can integrate all the stakeholders in the system into the tech, into the digital world. The digital ecosystem is large, it's huge, the users are moving faster. We are developing, as Carrie was saying before early today, that we are developing technologies and artificial intelligence to make the connections easier, to make the user experience easier. So because the consumers are there, but the companies need to move faster and get there before the consumers move into a different stage. So we need the industry to move faster into tech, into digital.
Would you like to add on this, Noel?
Yes, I agree with them, and first of all, I would like to say that in the online advertising industry, for example, we are facing the challenge, not only Twitter, also Facebook, Google, Instagram, and other advertising platforms, that we are on the phase to explain brands how they should measure the performance of the users they target on they are navigating all the networks, right? So for example, nowadays in Twitter, like 80% for traffic is coming from mobile. Same happens in Facebook, I would say. Many people are coming from mobile. You are getting impacted by different posts and ads and stuff. And then those users who have been impacted, who have been watching your videos or your content, are going to different devices like desktop or tablets, and they are purchasing, or they are buying your stuff, or they are doing a reservation. So how we help brands to identify that those users were impacted with their ads, and later on, 2 days later, they are purchasing the website. How those brands are identifying that those customers are coming from an online ad that impacted the users days ago through an online advertisement, and it's not from an offline strategy that they were developing, or maybe a SEO strategy that they were developing I don't know months ago, right? So in the marketing mix, there are many strategies that nowadays brands are trying, and the challenge for us is to guide them in identifying what is the right, what marketing strategy was generating the most of the traffic, or the most of the conversions, or the most of the purchases they generated, right? Just to give them the most accurate number for them. So we are working with different advertising codes and tagging the websites and trying to do all this cross-device tracking with them, so they can give the right attribution to the right marketing channels.
Thank you, Noel.
Thank you. I'm so agree with all of you. At the first time, I'm talking not like an expert, maybe like an observer here about our reality in Chile. Now we are talking 2 days about the digital ecosystem, but our enterprise of tourism, the small, medium, and bigger maybe, doesn't know all the technologies, and they are so afraid. Maybe sometimes I go to an hotel and they are afraid for our OTA. And I'm talking, what about if you want to sell more, if you want to reach more people, you have to be there. You need it. And I'm so agree with you about the teach part. We have here to teach them and to explain what are the benefits. And this is not the bad guy who are asking for you a 50% fee, bank 20% above your income. No, it's just part of our chain. And we have to integrate the OTAs and all the solutions about the change. And I think we have to teach them and to talk to them a lot of time, but I think we are in a good way now.
So thinking of everything you have said, so what are the biggest barriers or the biggest challenges for companies who want to grow with technology or ICT?
One of the biggest ones that I see is that they need to understand that the IT teams are completely different from the e-commerce teams. IT gives you the back that is going to develop the solution. Probably they're going to deal with the IT connections and whatever, but that's not the team that has to manage the e-commerce if they're going to sell online. Most in Latin America, they tend to confuse IT with e-commerce. It's like, oh, e-commerce belongs to IT. So when you start doing, for example, following up sales, trying to understand their channel, their cost, their income, their budgets, if you deal with the IT team, the technology team, they are totally lost because they are good in technology, which is perfect, is what we need them to do. But the e-commerce team is a channel, is a distribution channel that does sales in a different way. The other part is that some of the technology that is needed to get them integrated doesn't have operations in Latin America. So these guys depend on the international companies. We have language differences. Most of those companies work only in English. Some of the local partners only work in Spanish. So sometimes I've been in the last months, sometimes I've been also doing like as a translator between these guys that doesn't have anything to do with me, but I need them to develop their solution for the partners. So there's a lot of challenges in terms of culture, understanding the difference between technology and e-commerce operations, and understanding that everybody is allowed to ask, raise a hand, say, I don't know, and start understanding. Sometimes Latins, as our culture, we tend to be a little shy on asking things or saying, I don't know how to do this. And we have to be humble and understand that it's a new trend, it's a new business, it's different from what we know, and start understanding that if we want to join the digital environment, we have to learn from the ones that know. At least we have let them people guide us.
Who wants to add something to what Claudia said?
Well, what I can add is also that I think, you know, technology has revolutionized the world on both ends. Obviously, it's revolutionized the world on the consumer end, and that no one owns the consumer anymore. And so now the consumer is obviously free now to choose, and they have a wealth of information and options. And so that gives them this freedom of choice, and they choose where they want to choose and where they want to buy. But on the other hand, technology can also free and give so much
Hello? Carrie, are you still there?
Hotel.
Sorry, Carrie, can you please repeat the last sentence? There was a connection problem.
Oh, okay. Technology can also permit a very small operator, if it's a small 3-room hotel in a very small little town. So even a huge global company like Expedia, we work with even the smallest little tiny hotels. And very much like what Claudia was saying, we have teams that are here to help them learn, to train them. And the only thing they need is the best Wi-Fi connection they can get. And it does help to have someone, we have our team speak Spanish, but if they happen to have an employee that speaks English, sometimes it helps. So that would be the starting point, is to not be afraid to work with a big international company, because we are present in all of the countries in South America, and we're here to help them get that global reach and take advantage of technology.
Thank you very much, Carrie. Noel, do you have an opinion on this one or experience?
Just on the barriers, I would say that yeah, brands nowadays that they're turning into online, they should be defining what is the communication approach they want to give through those channels, right? They have been used to have different establishments and to be in contact with the users or with the clients face to face. And nowadays you are talking to them via online. They don't see your face, they don't see how you look like, they don't see your good intentions sometimes. So you should define the way you talk to them. You should adopt the communication, you should adopt the language. You should be identified by the way you contact them. And if you prefer as a brand maybe to talk to them in public spaces like on Twitter, or you may like probably to approach them via a private message. You are recognized, maybe you are a brand that you are recognized by your sense of humor. So I would say you should humanize your brand. You should give a personification to your brand. And this is what is making your brand in the end successful, right? That when you say something, they say, yeah, only, I don't know, LATAM Airlines would say something like this. Or this should be serious, you know, because this brand is always talking in a very good sense of humor, and then now they're talking like serious, so this should be something important. So there are things that are sort of hidden, and brands should be defining. And I would say this is a big barrier for brands nowadays, because they don't know what is the approach they should define, right? They need to drive, they need to draw or to build the persona, and this persona should be the persona, you know, representing the brand. So that's the main challenge before you go online with all your communication channels.
Okay. I'm thinking about the role of ICT. For it's maybe a tool, and or the people have to understand that you have to transfer experience, and that's the most important way. The tool is the ICT or the technology that you use, but sometimes you have a hotel, and you sometimes are so afraid to use that, and you put just one part and forget the experience. The experience is still the most important part, and the ICT is just a tool to reach and to catch more people and to get to know more people. And I think too that it's so important, and sometimes we forget that. We are using the ICTs and becoming like a hacker, maybe, I don't know. But you forget that you just need to use them, and you have more free time to rethinking your business, or you have more time for another stuff that you don't have because you are in Excel or in a book all the time.
So I want to add or continue with the topic Noel mentioned, because obviously the industry is very much SME structured. And Noel said humanizing a brand. And obviously small businesses are all about people. So they offline are about the person even. So what are the challenges to transfer this humanization for small SMEs, especially to online? So why is it so difficult for them to actually put their brand and humanize their brand online?
It's a difficult one. Well, I think we go on, Carrie.
Okay. No, I think that obviously there is that's part of this dilemma between what the new traveler wants. They're very tech savvy, but at the same time, they want this real experience. They want to engage, and they want to, when they travel, they want to meet and greet local people. And obviously, and from the hotel side, the heart of hospitality is providing genuine service, and that's very human. And so we obviously want to maintain that part of the true hotel experience. One thing that Expedia has done is to add a feature called real-time feedback that allows the hotel to engage directly with the guest as soon as they're at the hotel and get feedback from them throughout the stay. And And this allows them to revert any type of situation so they don't get a negative review. We know that reviews can also influence someone in their decision to purchase. And I think this also, as Noel was saying, you want your reviews to show your kind of your personality. You want people that's a huge factor when people are choosing their hotels. And of course, you want your reviews to be positive. So this real-time feedback allows us to be very functional. It's the hotels can engage with the guests, and even if and it lets them interact through technology. I think it combines both worlds, the world of hospitality with the world of technology.
So you mentioned real-time feedback, and obviously customers can provide this feedback on multiple channels, and even different continents or different countries use different channels. So what would you suggest, or how to choose the right channel to reach the right customers, in terms of maybe some are more adventurous or some are more like relaxation seekers? So what would you tell the audience how to approach this challenge? Noel, do you want to start?
Yeah, so yeah, great question. Actually is that's a big dilemma for many brands nowadays. Like, okay, I have a product, I have a service, or I have I have something that I want to show to my customers or to my potential customers. What is the right channel to choose? Should I be focusing on tools who are like prompting or are encouraging the users to talk, like conversational tools like Twitter or Facebook? I mean, do I want that people talk about my product, or do I want to show my product or the aesthetic part of my product? And then I should go through different channels, like, I don't know, Instagram, or I should be driving traffic to my YouTube channel where people can consume my video. So that's something that we really need to define with an alignment to the objectives of the brand itself, right? So and that's a challenge. If we have a product which is really based on aesthetic, where, for example, we have many people or many brands working in the gastronomy industry, and they may probably wanna go through channels where aesthetic takes an important role, then we should be going there. But obviously, we should always be considering those tools where conversation is being generated. Again, going back to the reviews and the opinions. Opinions are being represented always through text. So you should always be, even if you are very aesthetic and you may be showing a nice landscape and a nice hotel or a nice or the delicious food or whatever, you should be always being on the conversational channels to not only to defend yourself and to answer customers and to talk about customers, to talk about your products to customers, also to be interacting with the real-time events that happens in the world. And again, going back to the previous question, online users turning online, brands turning into online is a very good opportunity, because before, the brands didn't have the chance to talk and give their opinions about real-time events. Christmas, before, brands were interacting in the Christmas season and then the summer season, launching campaigns and stuff. Now, if tomorrow there is an earthquake here in Chile, I hope not, but if tomorrow there is an earthquake, probably you will have brands saying, brand X is with all the affected people for the earthquake, and that's a great opportunity for them, not only for humanizing, but also to express as a brand that they're very committed to the catastrophe, right? So yeah, that would be basically my point.
Okay, thank you, Noel. Carla, do you want to
about your question about how channels you can choose. One question is what channels, and the other is how to analyze them. But sometimes if you have a restaurant, or if you have a tour operator, you want to be in a lot of channels, and you just where it's about to be and not to analyze them. In most cases, the Google Analytics don't use on the even in TripAdvisor or about your social network. You can analyze how was your results and take decisions in a short term and medium term. But I think that's a part of the teach we have to do too.
One thing that I always analyze about what channels we need to pick is understanding what's your goal, your target.
Yeah.
If the target is doing branding, there are channels that are specifically built to do branding, to let your brand be alive and people remember your name, and that's a measurement that is totally different than performance channels. Performance channels in the industry can be reservations, nights, tickets sold, or what is called in the business and NPRs, like tickets, billings. It depends on what are you doing. For example, in Kayak, what we do with most of our partners, we don't sell anything. We are not an e-commerce. We are not an OTA. We're a meta search. But we are always looking after the ROI we are generating for our partners. We are always seeking for a healthy ROI. We are always looking after a minimum or a target ROI. And the budget that our partners are investing in Kayak, in the core vertical or in the ads vertical, is seeking or is looking after their ROI. We also have products for branding, and we suggest the different partners that are starting to be in the online or in the digital ecosystem that they need to seek to be alive with different partners in the industry, but they have to be very clear about what they're looking for. In Latin America, it's very usual that they tell you, okay, I want to sell more and I want to be the number one in top of mind. You cannot be both. Of like, this is your branding target and this is your ROI target, and most of the products don't do both. So you have to be very, and the partners, the tourism stakeholders have to be very clear on what they are looking for.
This is actually a very nice statement, closing with how to measure success of the different channels for our Hangout on Air. I would like to thank all the experts, Claudia, Noel, Karla, and Carrie, for participating in this interesting topic, which I suppose might be pretty severe for Latin America, but it's obviously very important for all the countries out there, because it's not only here that we have this gap, but also in other countries, more or less. So thank you, everybody, and have a lovely rest of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye. Thank you.